So it's time to retire my February lucky bag, talk about what was in there, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I'm going to declutter, and to introduce you to the March bag. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa. And this month I had a lot of things that I was like, meh on. So I'm actually decluttering quite a bit that was in the February bag. I was really glad to work with them and refresh my memory on them and go, yeah, I'm ready to let go of this. So the first thing I'm going to declutter is this Clarins UV Plus Anti-Pollution Broad Spectrum SPF 50. I liked the idea that it was an SPF 50. I did go online. It was a mix of some minerals, some chemical. I thought maybe I can get away with it, but guess what? I got a breakout and I was like, no, I have worked too hard to keep my skin clear and not get any breakouts. I'm decluttering this. So this is the first item that I'm going to declutter. Next, I had two foundations. I had the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Nude Ivory and the Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade Ecru. Let's talk about the Wet n Wild. So I thought I recalled liking this pretty nicely for being a drugstore foundation. However, upon using it again, it is definitely way too light and it settles in all my pores like crazy. It's almost like the pores on your nose, it looks like you have flesh tone blackheads. I cannot stand that when a foundation does that. I tried a couple different primers. Nothing really helped. The thing that cinched it for me was the smell. It smells musty. And I don't know if that's because it has expired or because that's just the way it smells. So regardless, I am decluttering the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. The Estee Lauder Double Wear is what I'm wearing today. I think the shade match is pretty good. My memory of this foundation was that it was a little heavy and a little cakey, and I was not looking forward to putting this on my face again. However, I was pleasantly surprised. I actually thought it worked pretty well. I think it looks pretty nice. It doesn't look cakey. One of the things that I do when I apply it, instead of tapping, I use this and I kind of blend it in with like a stroking motion. I find you do get a little less coverage, which I'm okay with, but I think the finish is so much better. And for me, it is really all about finish right now. I think when you're younger and you can wear anything, you know, your face is fairly flawless, it doesn't really matter. You can tap, tap, tap and put on a whole boatload of foundation and you're going to still look good. As you get older, you have to be a little bit pickier about your foundation and a little bit pickier about your application. So after doing that a couple times, and I was like, okay, yes, I do still like this. So I am going to keep this. I'm going to put this in my foundation drawer. So I'm going to talk about two other face products. And the first is this Pot Foundation from Laura Mercier in the shade 2. It is way too dark. And I've never really loved these kind of concealers. I think they just don't work well with what I have going on under my eyes. I do better with like a little bit of a creamier or a serum concealer that is a little bit thinner but still offers some pretty decent coverage. So I'm going to declutter this. The other face product I have is the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. So I have a lot to say about this. It looks like I've used about half of it, when the reality is I've only used it a half a dozen times. And I think when I first got it, I tried it 2 or 3 times, and then the packaging broke on the inside, so I couldn't maintain a tight seal. I'm just not even sure how to go about showing this to you because it's one heck of a mess. So this little like latch situation here broke, and I never could really get that inner lid locked into place tightly, and it dried out. It lost about half of its volume. That's problem number one. The other issue is when I remember trying this and thinking this is such a weird consistency. When you put it on, it does feel kind of cool and refreshing, and then my brush feels wet. I didn't like that. I didn't like that my powder brush felt wet when I went to dip back in and to put it somewhere else. It felt kind of gross. I don't know how else to describe it. It just felt wet. And not like damp from being washed. It just felt wet. I know that's not a very good descriptor. After trying it like 2 or 3 times, and then I put it back in the drawer, I just kind of ignored it because I just didn't love it. And when I was working on pulling things out for this video, I thought, okay, I'll give it one more try. And it was totally dry. It's like a dry, loose powder. So I'm kind of done with this product. It does not spark joy. So I am ready to move this out. So I am decluttering this Hydra Mist Set and Refresh powder. I would like to know if anyone bought this, used it, their packaging didn't break, how quickly their product dried out, because I'm assuming that it does dry out fairly quickly. So I'm curious to know how quickly that happens. I'm going to talk about some cheek products. So when I opened this lucky bag and I saw that this Laura Geller Baked Trio was in there, I was excited because I had just come off a month of using this one from Sephora. And quite honestly, I don't really need both. So I really wanted to go, okay, which one do I like the best and which one am I going to keep? The winner is, drumroll please, the Sephora one. I'm going to keep the Sephora one and I'm going to declutter the Laura Geller one. And the primary reason is the color. They don't look that different. I thought they were going to look dramatically different. I thought they looked dramatically different on my face, and I liked the Sephora one better. This one was a little bit too peachy. I'm just not a fan of that color shade on me, so I am getting rid of this. You know, it is totally subjective when you're decluttering. All right, the Clinique ColorPop, which this is what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. I think it's pretty. It's very pink. It's like a really bright pink. And as I've worn it each time, some days I've thought, oh yeah, I like this. Other days I've been like, no, I don't like this. This morning when I was getting ready and I was using this, I thought, you know what? I have a bunch of other blushes that I really like so much better than this. So I am going to declutter this. All right, there were a couple of eyeshadow singles in this grouping. So let's talk about what I'm wearing on my eyes today. It's from Nars, and it is the shade called Kari. It is one of the Dual Intensity eyeshadows, and I really quite like this. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes. It's a great like weekend shadow look. It's a nice wash of color. I don't know if you can see in here, but there's a pretty substantial dip in there. I've used this quite a bit, and I would like to continue using it, so I am going to keep this. The second one is from L'Oreal. It's their Infallible eyeshadow in the shade Bronzed Taupe, and it comes in this type of packaging with this little stopper, and this is really quite beautiful. I love this. I truly love this. I am a taupe lover. Give me a good taupe eyeshadow and I am a happy girl. So I'm definitely going to keep this, but I'm going to move it forward in my collection so that I see it a little bit more often and use it a little bit more often. Definitely a keeper. The last one is from ColorPop, and it is their Super Shock Shadow in the shade As If, which you can see I used quite a bit of this prior to putting it in my lucky bag, but it has a film on it. I've tried scraping it. You know, I don't need to work that hard. I have plenty of eyeshadow, and I'm done with this, so I'm going to declutter this. This actually was really quite a beautiful brown, and I enjoyed using it quite a lot. There were 2 palettes in here from Makeup Forever, and as I mentioned in my last video, I did that intentionally because I wanted to see, did I want to keep both or would one suffice? So I did use these quite a bit during the month. Let's talk about this smaller palette first. It is their 9 Pan Artist Shadow palette. And quite honestly, every shade in here except for the black is very shimmery. Yeah, every single shade. And while the shades are pretty, I was like, do I really want a whole palette of like a shimmery eyeshadow? It felt and looked very dated. And the same thing falls true with this other holiday palette, with the exception of this black and I think this cream up here, all very shimmery. And I didn't feel like the color payout on some of the like brighter colors was really that good. See, I don't think that purpley shade really shows up under my eyes that much. I have newer palettes that have some color in them that I like so much better. I am going to declutter both of these. There were 3 lipsticks in this bag. The first one is what I'm wearing today. It's from Bobbi Brown and it's called Desert Rose. It's a pretty rosy neutral, but I do feel like it leans a little orangey on me, and every time I wear it I'm like, do I like it? Do I not like it? And the bottom line is I really don't like it. So I am going to declutter this. The other 2 are very similar shades. I must have been in the section of my lipstick collection that was these like plummy shades. The first one is from Estee Lauder in the color Insolent Plum, and it is just a true plum, and it's a slightly sheer formula. And the other one is from Makeup Revolution, and it's called No Perfection Yet. And it is also a plum, but a little bit more of a cream formula. And they look nearly identical. And I'm decluttering both of these. I may be losing my taste for a dark plummy lipstick. I don't know. I am just going to get rid of all 3 of these lipsticks. I'm down to my last 2 items. The next is the Fresh Sugar Rosé Lip Balm. This is all I have left. I've used a ton of this. I thought perhaps I would use it up during the month. It's kind of a short month and I have not used it up, so I'm gonna continue to work on this. This is a beautiful little sheer rosy tint, great for bopping around the house, running errands on the weekend. I should be done with this in the next week or so. Now these little minis, they only take about a month to use up. That's been my experience. So the last item in my lucky bag is this mask from K Bella. It is the Replenishing Dead Sea Mud Mask, and I actually was able to get 2 applications out of this. These are, I think, a great buy. You can buy them at Target, these little sachets of mask, and you know, they're not that much money. They're, you know, like $1 or $1.50, and they come in a lot of different flavors, if you will. And I just think they're a great buy. Awesome if you want to like share a mask with a friend, or to very tightly secure the top and then you can reuse it another day. Really enjoyed this. So that is everything from my February lucky bag. I do want to circle back to a couple items from the January bag that I have finished up. The first one is the Fresh Sugar Lip Treatment. This was the clear formula, so I did use that up. It was excellent. You know how I feel about these little minis. They're a pain in the ass to use because they break so easily, but whatever. And I did use up this little deluxe sample from Makeup Forever, the HD Primer, which I don't think they make anymore. So yeah, I only have a handful of things that I'm going to keep. 2 eyeshadows, a foundation, and this little lip treatment. It's time to select a new lucky bag. So let's go into my closet. My least favorite part is showing off my closet. It's probably one of the more interesting things for you guys, because if you're like me, you're nosy. Put the light on. Alright, we have some here and up here. I see this little one back here. I think I'm going to grab this one. Okay. Back over to my filming station. Now, let's get into the fun part. Going into this new bag, which I'm just going to reach in and grab like I did last time because it was so much fun to just be surprised as we go through it. So let's get started. I did happen to see this when I was pulling it out. There is another mask from Kebella in there. This one is the refreshing pomegranate peel-off mask. There is this eyeshadow palette from Sephora. It's called the Moon Shadow Baked Palette with some really cool, interesting colors. I remember enjoying this palette quite a bit. Oh, okay. This is the Fiona Styles Artist Eyeshadow Palette, which I talked about in a video where I said, oh, things I've purchased but never used. And this has some really pretty neutrals. A lot of you encouraged me to use it. Some of you love it. So I am excited to dive into that. This is the Paula's Choice Sun-Kissed Custom Color Bronzer, and it's all a matte finish. And you know, I'm not a huge bronzer girl, which my daughter teases me about a lot, but I remember really liking the paler side of this quite a bit. I probably only will end up keeping one, maybe two bronzers. I just don't use them that much, so that'll be something I evaluate as I go along. If I decide to keep this, I'll put it back in my bronzer drawer, and as new bronzers come up in lucky bags, I will be comparing and making decisions. Kind of like I did today with this little Sephora palette. This is a Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush in the shade Doll Face, which has been used quite a bit because the imprint is all gone on it. Oh, awesome. Here's something else from the I bought it but never tried it video, and this is like a little makeup tape that you can put to keep the makeup from getting blended too far down. That'll be fun. Okay. This is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer in number 2 Alabaster. Used a couple times. I don't know. So I don't really remember. But whoa, that looks really dark. Next up is this Neutrogena Revitalizing Lip Balm. Has an SPF of 20. It has a shade on here. Does it have a shade on here? I think it's like the pink shade. And I liked this. So here's the Fresh, here's the Neutrogena. They're very similar. Very, very similar. This is the Dr. Jart Beauty Balm with an SPF of 30. And it's the Radiance one. And I have used this on and off. It came in a set that had like 4 different types of Dr. Jart Beauty Balms. And I've used up the ones, I've used up a couple of them. I think I'm down to what was that? I think I'm just down to like the last 2. So I don't really know how much is left in here, but I think I'll enjoy using this. I really like these beauty balms from Dr. Jart. Ooh. Okay, I'm just gonna take the rest of this out of here because maybe it'll make some sense to go through them. This is from IT Cosmetics. It's the Bye Bye Under Eyes Waterproof Full Coverage Anti-Aging Concealer. I think someone passed this along to me. I think the color is not going to be quite right for me, which is why it probably has just sat around and sat around. Oh yeah, neutral medium. I'm almost 100% certain that is going to be decluttered, but I will give it a go and see what I think. All right, I have 2 singles. Okay, this is the Revlon. Woohoo! This is the Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow in 730. Does it have a name? It's a very sheer, like bronzy neutral, light. I don't know how to describe this. It actually feels like it might be a little dry. This was one of the ones that came out later on that actually has like a little applicator to go with it. From ColorPop, it's the Super Shock Eyeshadow in Supermodel, which is very shiny. You probably can't even really see it down here. Could almost work as like a highlight. However, I have the MAC Strobe Cream in here, which this was a deluxe sample. I think that's really pretty. This is the last eye product. It's from Milani, and it's the Shadow Eyes 12-Hour Wear Eyeshadow, and it's this little pencil. The shade is number 11, Sand Dunes. I'll have to research and see if they're still selling these. It's a pretty little bronzy neutral, and I think I used to use it to like brighten up the inner corner of my eye a little bit. We'll get reacquainted with that. And I cannot believe I managed to pick 3 bags that have each had a sample of these little lip balms. This one is in the shade Poppy, and this, I'm pretty sure, really got melted in the sun one day. It's very goopy. A lot of pigment in that. The next thing is from Wander Beauty, and this is a little multi-purpose crayon for the lip and cheeks. And I thought I kind of liked this on the cheek. I'm not sure if I liked this on the lip. It came as part of like a get to know you kit that had a sample of a bunch of different products from Wander. And then lastly, I have 2 lip glosses. I must have had a lot of these dark plum shades in my collection. That's a lot of what's showing up in here. So this one is from Lorac, and it's in the shade Dominatrix. And this one is from Bite Beauty, and it's Kir Royale. And it's also like a bright raspberry. That's everything. Woohoo! I think the things that I'm most excited about is this palette. So I publish videos every Saturday morning, and I'll include a link to last week's video right up here. And I'm also going to include a playlist from the other Lucky Bag videos that I've done. This is a whole ongoing series through the year if you want to get caught up. And if you are new to my channel, just stopping by for the first time, feel free to hit this little bee icon and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!